Our journey into China's epic story begins in the misty river valleys of ancient times. Long before written records were common, people gathered along the Yellow River. They learned to farm the land and build small villages. This was the start of a great civilization. The legends, speak of a first dynasty, the Xia. For a long time, folks thought it was just a myth. But now, archaeologists have found ancient cities and palaces. They found proof of a powerful kingdom. This discovery tells us that the stories passed down through generations held a deep truth about China's beginnings, a foundation built by early kings who tamed the rivers and organized society. Following the Xia, a new power rose, the Shang dynasty. The Shang were masters of bronze. They created amazing bronze vessels for rituals to honor their ancestors. They asked questions to the gods using oracle bones. They would write a question on a turtle shell or an ox bone, heat it until it cracked, and then read the cracks to find the answer. These oracle bones give us the first examples of Chinese writing, a direct link to the thoughts and beliefs of people who lived over 3,000 years ago. After the Shang, the Zhou dynasty came to power. The Zhou ruled for a very long time, nearly 800 years. They introduced a very important idea called the Mandate of Heaven. This belief said that a good and just ruler had the support of the gods. But if a ruler was cruel or incompetent, the gods would take away their support, and a new dynasty could take over. This idea would shape Chinese politics for thousands of years. It created a cycle of dynasties rising and falling, each claiming they had the divine right to rule the land and its people, a powerful concept that justified rebellion and change. However, the long rule of the Zhou was not always peaceful. Over time, the power of the Zhou kings weakened. Out of the chaos of the warring states period, one state grew stronger than all the others. This was the state of Qin, led by a fierce and ambitious king. His name was Zheng. He was a brilliant military strategist and a ruthless leader. One by one, he conquered the other warring states. He defeated his rivals and brought an end to centuries of division. In 221 BC, he achieved something no one had ever done before. He unified all of China under his rule. He declared himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor. To do this, he standardized everything. He created one system of writing. He made all the money the same. He even made the axles of carts the same width. These changes helped to bring the people together and create a shared identity. He built a vast network of roads connecting the far corners of his new empire. But Qin Shi Huang is most famous for one incredible project, the Great Wall. He connected many smaller walls that had been built by earlier states. He created a massive defensive barrier to protect his empire from nomadic tribes in the north. Thousands upon thousands of workers were sent to build it. Soldiers were sent to build it. Prisoners were sent to build it. The work was hard and dangerous, and many people died. The wall became a powerful symbol of the emperor's power and his determination to protect his new nation. It was a line drawn on the landscape, separating the civilized world from the wild lands beyond. The emperor was obsessed with finding the secret to eternal life. He sent expeditions to find magical herbs and consulted with mystics. But in the end, he prepared for death in a truly astonishing way. Near his capital, he built a massive tomb for himself. To guard him in the afterlife, he had an entire army made of terracotta clay created. Thousands of life-sized soldiers, each with a unique face, along with horses and chariots. This incredible terracotta army was discovered by farmers in 1974. It remains a stunning testament to the power, ambition, and vision of China's first emperor. After the short and harsh rule of the Qin, a new dynasty emerged, the Han. The Han dynasty would rule for over 400 years, a period so important that the main ethnic group in China still calls themselves the Han people today. They promoted Confucianism as the official philosophy of the state. This meant that government officials were chosen based on their education and moral character, not just their family connections. The Han dynasty was a time of great prosperity and expansion. The empire grew, pushing its borders west into Central Asia. This expansion led to the creation of the famous Silk Road. This network of trade routes connected China to the Roman Empire and the world beyond. For the first time, goods, ideas, and cultures could travel across the vast continent. Silk from China was traded for gold, glass, and horses from the West. bringing new foods, music, and religions, like Buddhism, into China. Centuries later, after a period of division, China was reunited under the Tang Dynasty. The capital city, Chang'an, was the largest and most cosmopolitan city in the world at the time. People from all over Asia, merchants, monks, musicians, and artists, flocked to the city. It was an era of magnificent art, beautiful poetry, and stunning sculptures. The poetry of Li Bai and Du Fu is still loved today. Following the Tang, the Song dynasty continued this cultural brilliance. Their achievements in science, technology, and the arts were incredible. China's history is not just a story of emperors and battles, it is also a story of incredible creativity and invention. One of the earliest and most famous of these was silk. The Chinese discovered how to unwind the cocoons of silkworms and weave the fine thread into a beautiful, soft cloth. For a long time, they kept the method a secret. Silk was highly prized as far away as Rome. Another world-changing invention from China was paper. Before paper, people wrote on bamboo strips, pieces of silk, or even turtle shells. During the Han Dynasty, Kailun improved paper-making using tree bark, rags, and fishing nets. He created a lightweight, cheap writing surface that revolutionized communication and education. At first, they used woodblock printing, carving a whole page, inking it, and pressing onto paper. This allowed many copies of a single text. During the Song, Shang invented movable type, individual characters that could be rearranged and reused. A revolutionary idea, centuries before Gutenberg in Europe. It led to a surge in books and rapid spread of knowledge. They developed the magnetic compass, first for cities and feng shui, later essential at sea. They also invented gunpowder, used for fireworks, then rockets, cannons, and bombs. Along with porcelain and the wheelbarrow, these innovations show enduring ingenuity. For thousands of years, Chinese thinkers and artisans made discoveries that changed the world. The stage was set for new powers to rise. In the 13th century, a new and powerful force swept across Asia from the northern steppes. These were the Mongols, led by the legendary Genghis Khan. He united the nomadic tribes and created a fearsome, highly disciplined army. They conquered the largest land empire in world history, stretching from China to Eastern Europe. After taking the north, Genghis's grandson, Kublai Khan, completed the conquest of the south, establishing the Yuan dynasty. Life under Mongol rule was unique. Outsiders with their own language and laws held top positions, yet the Pax Mongolica made travel safer than ever, enabling merchants, missionaries, and explorers like Marco Polo. His writings gave Europe its first vivid look at China. The Yuan faltered. Rebels led by Zhou Yuanzhang drove the Mongols out and founded the Ming dynasty in 1368. The Ming restored traditions, moved the capital to Beijing, and built the Forbidden City, home of emperors for centuries. The Yongle Emperor commissioned fleets larger and more advanced than any in Europe. Under Admiral Zheng He, 7 epic voyages reached Southeast Asia, India, the Persian Gulf, and Africa. They brought back goods and envoys, demonstrating China's naval power long before Europe's age of discovery. But tides would turn again, as a new dynasty rose, and the world closed in. After the Ming dynasty, China was once again conquered by people from the north. This time, the Manchus, who established the Qing in 1644. This would be China's last imperial dynasty. They adopted Chinese customs and Confucian systems, even as they imposed the queue as a sign of submission. Under emperors Kangxi and Qianlong, the empire reached its greatest extent, with long peace and prosperity. Trade thrived, porcelain, tea, and silk flowing out, silver flowing in. The court became a center of learning, commissioning vast encyclopedias and preserving heritage. For a time, the Qing seemed the most powerful nation on earth. But by the 19th century, change came. Weakened from within, corruption and revolt. European powers pressed in. The British, hungry for tea, sold opium illegally in China. Addiction spread. When China tried to stop it, war broke out. With advanced ships and weapons, Britain defeated Qing forces. China was forced into unequal treaties, opening ports and giving away territory, Hong Kong, and allowing extraterritoriality. It was a time of great humiliation and deepening decline. The Qing power was broken, struggling with modern challenges. The last imperial dynasty was slowly crumbling. Revolution would sweep the old order away. The fall of the Qing dynasty in 1911 left a power vacuum in China. The old imperial system was gone, but what would replace it? A new Republic of China was declared, led by figures like Sun Yat-sen. He championed nationalism, democracy, and the people's livelihood. There was hope to build a modern, strong China, yet reality was harsh. The Republic was weak and fragmented. Warlords fought for control, plunging China into chaos. Foreign powers pressed on. Japan in particular sought dominance. Japan seized Manchuria, then invaded China in 1937, unleashing a brutal war. Millions died. Cities were destroyed. The nationalists led by Chiang Kai-shek and the communists led by Mao Zedong formed a temporary alliance against Japan. After World War II, the alliance quickly fell apart. The Civil War returned, more intense than before. The nationalists, despite US support, lost popular backing. The communists won peasants with land reform. Communist forces gained the upper hand and took the capital. On October 1, 1949, Mao Zedong announced the founding of the People's Republic of China. Chiang Kai-shek fled to Taiwan. After a century of turmoil, China was united under a new, powerful government. After the communist victory in 1949, China entered a period of radical transformation under Mao Zedong. The government took control of the economy and society. Ambitious campaigns like the Great Leap Forward aimed to rapidly industrialize the country, but the policy was a disaster, leading to a massive famine and millions of deaths. Later, the Cultural Revolution encouraged attacks on old traditions, creating a decade of turmoil. After Mao's death in 1976, Deng Xiaoping came to power. He introduced reform and opening up, allowing elements of a free market and opening to the world. Foreign companies invested and built factories, unleashing vast economic potential. The results have been astonishing. The fastest sustained growth in human history. Hundreds of millions were lifted out of poverty. Sleepy villages transformed into gleaming megacities. China became the factory of the world. From toys to iPhones, the nation climbed the value chain. Massive investments built high-speed railways, modern airports, and vast highways. Culture and technology went global, with companies and institutes projecting influence. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, China invested in infrastructure across Asia, Africa, and Europe. A new chapter in a long, storied history had begun. As we stand here today on October 6, 2025, we see a China that has accomplished incredible things. But what does the future hold for this ancient civilization turned modern superpower? In politics, China will likely continue on its current path, with the Communist Party maintaining firm control, focusing on stability and unity, while navigating complex relations with the world. The big question is how to balance global ambitions with managing a huge population and a slowing economy. Its political future will depend on adapting to new challenges. In technology, China is a leader, pouring resources into artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and biotechnology. Imagine AI-managed cities, advanced robotics, and medical breakthroughs that extend life. China aims for self-reliance, setting global standards, and shaping the digital future. Ambitions reach the stars, a fast-advancing space program with rovers on the Moon and Mars. A permanent station in orbit today, tomorrow, taikonauts on the Moon, perhaps even a lunar base, carrying the legacy of ancient astronomers into the final frontier. Ultimately, China's epic story is far from over. From the early kings on the Yellow River to the taikonauts in space, it has been a journey of cycles, unity and division, chaos and order, decline and resurgence. Ahead lie challenges, an aging population and environmental concerns, but also resilience, innovation, and renewal.